Chess, nonsense, and analysis. Yeah, hi dear viewer. Today we're going to jump into the Fide Women's World Cup. Very interesting things are heating up. Basically, yeah, we've got 16 players remaining, and yeah, players are getting chopped off. Some favorites losing here and there, and uh, basically, yeah, this round will be tomorrow. But there are of the remaining players, four players are from China and four players are from India. So extremely exciting. We're gonna have Grandmaster Li Tinjie from China, 2592. She's going to be playing against Umonoma Umida from Uzbekistan, who's been causing some upsets. Who's 2211. Then we've got an Indian, very strong player against a GM, so Divya Deshmukh, 2463, will play against Zhu Jiner from China, 2547. Then we're going to have, so that's going to be a Hamting now. Then Tan Zhongi plays against a player from Ukraine, Osmat Yulia, 468. Then another very interesting match. Two former world champions playing against each other. Alexander Kostenyuk, who now from Russia but now plays for Switzerland, 2474. And she plays against the Indian superstar Konir Hampi, 2543. Then we've got another very interesting lineup, which is Lagno Katerina plays against Harika Tarnovali from India, both GMs. And then we've got Muzichuk from Ukraine, Maria, 2492, plays against Zaknidze Nana from Georgia, 2505. Then we've got Vaishali Ramesh Babu, who is Prague's sister GM, plays against Kamlitenova Meruet from Kazakhstan, 2330. And then Song Yukin from China, 2410, plays against Javikishvili Lela, 2432. So a lot is still going to happen. I was attracted by this game. This game came from the third round. And this is the game where Lagno Katerina 2515 knocked out a player who definitely we should keep an eye on, Vantika Agrawal from India, 2377, who's been causing some nice upsets. But this game was quite nice, but very tense. Let's have a look at the game. So the game started off as a Nimzo Indian, and then A3 was played. This is the so-called Samish variation. Historically, there's a very nice game where I'm trying to remember the year, but it should have been like very early 30s, like 1930 or 31 or somewhere there. Could have even been even 1928, I'm not so sure. But Potvinnik beat a young Potvinnik beat an aging Capablanca in a beautiful game. Go check it out there, dear viewer. Fantastic game there by Potvinnik. Anyway, P6 is played, F3. So we see what the idea of the opening is, to play E4 and to control the center. So Black plays knight C6. This is sort of a known idea. The idea is to put the knight on A5, bishop A6, pawn on C5, and then to attack this pawn on C4. So what we're going to have, we're going to have these type of moves here. I have this type of situation happening, and this pawn is going to move to C5. That is basically more or less the idea. So there we go, knight A5, and then okay, D6 was played, Queen E2, C5, and then immediately white hits with E5. This is becoming now extremely aggressive, but very concrete variations happening there. captures 97, bishop f4. So this pawn on e5 signals a big attack that will come on the king side. So queen c7 is played. Yeah, this move was sort of the engine doesn't like. Engine preferring f5, but okay. Very difficult position. Who's to say what should happen here? Knight h3. So both players are building, and black decides that she's going to hide a king on the queen side. So h6 threatening g5, bishop g3, castles long. So white plays f4, solidifying the pawn e5, rook e8. So we can see with rook e8 that possibly black has got ideas of maybe playing f5 and then g5 possible. So we are talking here about maybe an idea of putting this pawn here and then pushing this pawn on g5 to create some play. So knight f2, the pawn goes to f5. And white is not going to leave this pawn because it will take away space from his pieces. Because if you look at the concentration of white's pieces, the bishop on d3, the queen on e2, the knight on f2, the rook on e1, and the bishop on g3 is on the other side. If white leaves this pawn, these pieces are, because the problem, they're not working. The problem is that the pawn on c4 blocks also the bishop, right? So you have to take. So, but in a way, black was anticipating this. That's why black moved the rook to e8. It's a fascinating game. Churches is a very nice move to stop any progress on the king side, and more important, to allow this move knight d3. So the knight is now getting into a better position. The rook moves to d1, bishop a6, and f5 attacks the queen. Okay, this move again, the computer didn't like. The computer felt like that knight e5 was much stronger in this position. All right. F5 is very human-like response to open up for the bishop, solidify the bishop on g6 now, and this was the idea. I like this idea, and bishop takes e5. I think white is on top here. So she plays knight d7. Very difficult because you see the king is quite weak, and you certainly have to be careful how you're going to play this position. Um, you have to be very careful, and many squares are taken by this bishop. So knight d7, rook d6. Yeah, maybe queen a4 is too much. Maybe you should stay here within the vicinity of the king, but it's very difficult to play queen c7 and go into a pattern yourself, right? Not easy, but yeah, because of something like this. But all right, black play queen a4, and but now the queen can be a little bit offside, isn't it? So queen takes a5, the black king is feeling the pressure. Queen takes c4, e7, rook f1, and yeah, this is now won. Of course, few moves were played, but generally, uh, uh, Black could have resigned a few moves earlier. What a game! What a game! Very, very tense, and a game befitting the what's on the line, which was a place to the next round. So yeah, we are in for a massive showdown. And it looks like at some point, uh, China and India are going to clash. So we certainly see that the power, in chess, it reflects in women's chess, it reflects just chess in general. It's moving to the east, and yeah, India and China. I think India is slightly ahead, and but China is making a fight of it. And yeah, very soon these superpowers are going to clash, and yeah, it's going to be fireworks. Very exciting for us as fans on the side, of course. And yeah, let's see what happens. So yeah, keep an eye out, and What do you guys think? What do you think? What do you think? What are predictions? Who's going to win? Who's going to win the overall championship? Remember, there are places, candidate places in place. I mean, at stake. I think three places for the candidates, and but so it's not only about the winner of the tournament. It's actually uh, this is the first step towards the world championship, isn't it? The world title, because if you remember, last time the world title was contested by two players from China. So obviously the Indians want to have a say in that. But then it will be important how many players go to the candidates tournament because, or rather to the candidates, right? Because the candidates, that's where then you are going to then pick a winner, competitively, of course, competition-wise, pick a winner who's then going to challenge the world champion. So fascinating and very interesting. So yeah, let's watch. Let's see what will happen. So please do share, like, subscribe, um, comment, and yeah, and all those other wonderful things that we already are doing. So yeah, till next time, let's meet again. We will discuss something else that should be fascinating. Till then, all I will say, dear viewer, is well.